Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new BenchWire podcast, episode 61. We got a lot to talk about. Trade deadline just occurred this past Tuesday. We're recording this on Thursday. We haven't been able to get together and record, but today's the day, and happy to be back. And once again, joined by my lovely co-host, Justin. How's it going, man?
It's going well, man. It's going well. Just a lot of bad coaching going on this weekend that frustrates me. I got to deal with the Sixers, their bad coaching. Oh, and I got
Dude,
to deal with Penn State, James, the bald motherfucker, Franklin, his bad coaching. Oh, man, it's awful.
it has been rough for Penn State, the Sixers, and maybe the Eagles too a little bit because Nick Sirianni left some points there on the board, but we'll
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about that another time. But let's talk about the trade deadline. Let's talk about that. And the biggest move that happened this Tuesday was Marshon Lattimore. He got traded from the Saints and he's heading on over to the NFC East. He's joining the Washington Commanders, man, and it's for a third rounder, a fourth rounder, and a sixth. And the Commanders got in return Marshon Lattimore and a fifth round pick. Justin, what's your instant reaction to that, man?
Man, that was a great move. That was one of their weaknesses, right? You had Emmanuel Forbes, you had Benjamin Saint Booty Juice, as I like to call him. He's
Ain't
ass.
booty
He's
juice.
ass as fuck. So you get rid of him. You just say, get out of here. You're not number one. You're more of a special team kind of guy. You can make booty juice tackle the returners. So you had to get a number one guy. Lattimore was in play there, and hey, you made the move there because one of the things that Joshua Palmer, I think he's an insider, and what he said was the Chiefs were interested in Lattimore, and they were hammering the Saints as well, but the compensation that Commanders gave up was a little bit too rich for the Chiefs, so they backed out, and the Saints ended up going with the Commanders move, which thank heavens, thank
Yeah,
God
that
that
would have been
happened.
bad.
But yeah, it's a good move. The guy can still play. He's still a top corner in this game, no doubt about it. Makes a lot of sense. A lot of people bring up the injury history with him. Yeah, he's a little bit banged up, but it's a risk you got to take. It's Alec Peters, the GM, who is becoming like a GM of the year candidate, and I was a fan of it when they hired him for their GM position in the offseason. Heck of a trade. He put together a roster, and going into the deadline, he wanted to improve that cornerback room, and he thought, hey, we have a shot to win the NFC East now. It's us and Philly. Let's make this move. Let's make our team a little bit better. And it's also not just for this year. It's like, hey, we got a rookie contract. Jane Daniels will have to pay him for another few years. So let's go in. Let's just stack the pieces now. Even if we're going to make the playoffs this year, we got a good shot. We're second right now in the overall conference behind Detroit, so they'll be the number two seed if it ended today. So yeah, they're like, why not just go all in right now? We can make a run for it, and you got to respect it. It's a great move. Yeah, I loved it personally. It was the move of the deadline, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think, obviously it was the best move of the deadline. I think, the Commanders got a lot better. They got a guy to shore up that cornerback spot because, it has been lacking. And, they got to play the Eagles coming up next week, right? They got to play A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and they don't have anybody to cover that, man. So I think Marshon
Mm-hmm.
Lattimore, that should be a fun little matchup now when they play the Eagles there. And they want to go all out, win a division, and I like this move. They're going all in. Something Jerry Jones can't do. We'll talk about the Cowboys here in a second. But, I like the move. Shores up that secondary, and, they want to go all in because of Jaden Daniels being on that rookie contract, like you said. And, only a third and a fourth round pick. I like the move a lot because he's one of the better corners in the league, and a third and fourth rounder usually turn out to be nothing nowadays. Like, they don't turn out to be good draft picks. So you're getting a sure guy that will, obviously make your defense better. He'll fit in that Dan Quinn scheme. And I like the move. I overall would give it a grade of an A. I really would because they're getting better. They want to win a division. And, there's talented receivers in the NFC East. You got to deal with CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Devontae, Malik. So, this is a guy that could be on your roster for the next few years and match up with those guys. So, yeah, I would give it an A. How about you?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of like grading right in the moment. I feel like you have to go back, you have to use hindsight, and then you can give it a grade. That's just me personally. This is, but if I were to give it a grade, I'm right with you. It's an A. He had nothing to lose. The guy could still play. He has a few years left in the tank. So yeah, it's like a why not move, which is make our team stronger and better. So yeah, I give it an A. And I gotta give him credit. I gotta give the GM another shout out. He took like the 3rd round pick that you traded Dotson for, and you get Lattimore with that too. So just a masterclass there. Just a great job there.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so that's an extra 3rd round pick. So,
Yeah, so they
and they
had
use
two.
that
He is one of
to
them.
get Marshon Lattimore, who's obviously better than a Jahan Dotson. He's been a no-show this year. I don't know. He had that one
They
catch on
don't use
Sunday.
him.
I'll give him that. He had that one catch. But other than that, yeah, I think they won that trade as of right now. Maybe I might be wrong later, but
Yeah, I don't get why they do that when they don't really use him or throw to him. It doesn't make sense.
it doesn't make sense. But you know what else doesn't make sense? The Cowboys trading for Jonathan Mingo for a 4th round pick. That's questionable for a guy that really hasn't done anything with the Panthers. But I can understand why they traded for a 4th round pick. The reason is he's on that rookie deal still, right? Still got a few years left, and is a guy that could step in right now because they're kind of hurt that receiver spot. Brandon Cooks is on IR. CeeDee Lamb's a little bit banged up. We don't know if he's playing this week, possibly. So, this guy, he has talent. He was drafted in the 2nd round. But, the situation there with the Panthers, it just hasn't been a good spot for him. You get a fresh new scenery there with Dallas. So, maybe, something might spark there and he has a good career. I think that's why they traded a 4th rounder. They want to give him a shot, and they like the rookie deal. So I kind of understand why it was a 4th rounder, but at the same time, you could have got a guy like D Hop, right? You could have got a guy like Mike Williams, but this guy's younger, and this guy's still in a rookie deal, so they don't have to pay him as much money. So I think that's why they traded a 4th rounder for him. And people are going to be hating on Jerry Jones, and they've had a bad off season. This year hasn't lived up to the hype, but understand why if it's a guy you liked. But at the same time, you probably could have got him later this off season for less, I think. But I could be wrong. I want to turn it over to you. What do you think? What's your
Yeah.
instant
Yeah,
reaction?
I guess from the Panthers side, it makes sense. You got a 4th round pick from him. And the Cowboys are not a good team. They only have like 2 wins this year. So that 4th round pick might be a top 100 pick. And that's a valuable pick that they're giving up too for a guy with 500 career, like just a little bit over 500 career reception yards through a season and a half so far. So, and like you said, like I was going to bring it up too, you could have traded with the Titans. You could have given up a 4th round pick. You could have got DeAndre Hopkins. But Jerry Jones, knowing that Dak is accounting and CeeDee Lamb are accounting for just under 50% of your entire cap. No, he's trying to save the cap. And I guess last year, Mingo was a guy that they liked coming out of the draft. They didn't get him. So I guess they valued him highly. And, Jerry was probably sitting there thinking, well, he's an Ole Miss receiver. Maybe we could turn him into a DK Metcalf or A.J. Brown.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't really work that way. Just because you go to the same school doesn't mean you become those two players. But, yeah, the thing is, it's a long-term play. It's not for this season like some of the other moves we've seen with like a D Hop, for instance, is more like a right now kind of thing. Let's win now. But this one's more of a long term. You got the rookie deal, and he wasn't a 1st round pick, so you won't have that 5th-year option, I believe. So you'll have him for the next 2.5 seasons if all goes well. It doesn't make sense. I feel like he could have still got DeAndre and I think he's another guy that lives in Dallas too. I'm pretty sure. So he may have been like, okay, I'll give you some kind of pay cut too if he went to Dallas. So Yeah, it's more of a cap move, and Jerry doesn't have the Midas touch, man. He doesn't. I don't know if he's. Some people are saying like, oh, he's lost touch. He doesn't know what he's doing anymore. He's going insane. Or some people are conspiratizing. They're saying, hey, Jerry might just be intentionally blowing this up. He didn't want to pay Dak in the first place. He paid him, and now the season is what it is. And I don't know. Cowboys will be interesting to watch this offseason. Do they trade Dak? I don't know. That contract's pretty hard to trade. So we'll see. But if you want to do grades for this,
Yeah, let's do grade. What do you got?
well, for Panthers, I give this an A. I like the 4th round pick they got. You still have Xavier Legette, and they have this rookie that's coming up that they're pretty high on. I forget the guy's name. That's on me. That's my bad. But for them, I give it an A because they like the receivers. They have more of the young guys there. From the Cowboys, a C minus, I would say, because he could have got better, but potential. He has potential to develop and probably be a pretty good receiver next to CD Lamb.
Yeah, I give it A for the Panthers. Yeah, moving off a guy. You got a kind of a crowded receiver room right now, and you could draft more receivers in a draft. They're pretty replaceable. And you maybe get a guy in free agency because you should have a lot of cap space because you're not paying that much players right now. The Cowboys, I don't know, man. I think I'll give it a C plus because of the cap situation that they're in. And, they're taking a chance on this guy, and this guy could pan out to be a good player. Who knows? He could have been in a bad situation there in Carolina. You put him in a good offense with Dak Prescott, and CD Lamb there. Maybe he can learn a thing or two. So I'll give it a C plus because of that aspect. But what I was kind of like questioning is like, why are you being a buyer at the deadline when your team is like 3-5? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Dak's on IR. He just partially torn his hamstring there. So I don't know why you're being a buyer at the deadline. You probably could have got this guy later in the offseason, but if you wanted to get him right away, that's why they made the move, because they didn't want to wait this offseason, and they wanted to see what he was made of now. So
that doesn't make sense.
That's probably why.
They're like hit the value around the deadline. It's higher than what it would be in the offseason because they want to get the deal done, so the price gets higher. And just to get the deal done, you're going to offer pretty high compensation. And for a team that's not contending this year, it didn't make any sense. And Jerry has his history of, hey, given the Raiders' 1st-round pick for Amari Cooper, that ended up working out. Amari Cooper balled out, but then you traded him away for a 5th. Now you trade Mingo for a 4th. And what, you're going to ship him in 2 years to hopefully get a 7th if he doesn't pan out? What's the deal?
He's going to trade him for a bag of chips.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their season is now. It's pretty much over. Dak's now on IR. And now we got to deal with Cooper Rush. Maybe he might win some games here. I don't know. I don't expect him to win this week against the Eagles, I'll tell you that. But, yeah, their season's not looking good. And with Jerry Jones saying, like, being all in, what did he do this offseason? You've been saying it from the start. But I thought, they're bringing back the same team, pretty much. But they lost Dan Quinn. I didn't think of that, right? You lost Tony Pollard, right? So major drop off there. And he's been balling with the Titans, Tony Pollard. And Zeke is not the same. Rico Dowdle is not good, right? You could have had a shot at a Derrick Henry who wanted to go there, wanted to play there, but you didn't want to pay him.
By the way, he's on pace for 2,300 rushing yards.
He is already has 1,000 yards, and it's only been
rushing. Rushing. Just rushing.
Rushing, not even total.
Saquon has 1,000, but that's all purpose. So that's receiving. And but Saquon had a bye week. He doesn't have that rushing.
Saquon had a bye week. But yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Derrick Henry's been a beast, and you could have paid him for, I think he was willing to take a hometown discount there.
He wanted to be there because he has 2 homes.
He wanted to be there.
He has 2 homes.
So it just didn't make sense. And I just don't understand Jerry Jones' logic right now. Because Your team is built to win now. At least you think it is. You got your quarterback, you got your receiver, you got your edge rusher, you got your star corner there, and you said you went all in. Your biggest signing was Eric Hendricks. Okay, that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So I don't know what they're going to do this offseason.
Well, did they pay? You got to think, did they pay Micah? Because then that's another big part of their cap. Or are they going to
They
trade
have
him?
to.
Yeah.
I feel like they have to, unless they get a haul for him. They could trade him, but I feel like they want to keep him in there. That's a player they like. At least I think they do.
I feel like a lot of Cowboys fans, though, they just want to reset. They're kind of done with Dak. It's been a few years with them. I think they're ready just to turn
It's
the
hard to
page and
reset after you just signed
I
him that
know.
mega deal. That's not possible. It's not happening.
I know. It just, I don't know. That's
I don't blame.
I don't know.
I don't blame Dak. Like, I don't think it's Dak's fault.
I don't blame him for taking that. I would take that money.
No, I'm not saying the money. Like, I'm not blaming him on why the Cowboys suck right now. I just feel like it's more than just Dak and the coaching. Like, the defense has been awful this year.
Well, it's the front office. They think they know more than anyone. Like, he's saying he's better than any GM they could bring in there. So he's an egomaniac. He has a big ego. We're talking about the same guy when the great Jimmy Johnson was there coaching. They could have won more Super Bowls. Because he was getting zero credit. Jimmy Johnson was getting all the credit. They went 1-15, and then from there they won Super Bowls. He got zero credit, so he fired Jimmy Johnson, refused to induct him to the Cowboys Hall of Fame until like this past season, the one, and then they got rid of like Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman, all these guys that were responsible for the Cowboys dynasty there, like their run of Super Bowls. Yeah, it just doesn't. He just makes questionable decisions, man. He's just more of like. He's just good at like making marketing, making a brand that America's team, bringing money, bringing dollar signs in. Like he's doing all this stuff with boxing and all this with AT&T Stadium. Like there's a Grand Prix going there. It's just he's not really focused on football. He's doing like all these other things. So yeah, my whole point is the biggest problem is this guy, Jerry Jones. He has a big ego, and you hate to say it, but if you want change, it's just like you're going to have to wait for the dude to pass away. I don't want to say that, but he's going to have to die before you want
Honestly,
change.
You're probably not wrong. You're just going
to have to wait for him to die.
They've been having, like, their drafts haven't been awful. Like, they're drafting solid guys. It's just, like, the free agent signing.
Well, recently.
Bringing in the right people and, like, the coaches.
Recently, it hasn't been good. Like, Tyler Guyton this year. It's his first year. I get it. You don't want to call him a bust, but he's been getting killed at left tackle. So he's been getting killed. Mozzie Smith, or some people call him Lazy Smith. He sucks. He can't get on the field. He can't stop the run.
Yeah.
So their first round picks, the last couple years at least, they've been missing big time.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions this offseason. Will Mike McCarthy even stay? I don't know. It's his first bad season as a head coach other than the year that Dak got hurt. Yeah. So
third round pick, you could have got Devontae Adams.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. But I don't know if Devontae wanted to go there. So that might have played a part of his.
No, they wouldn't have paid a third probably.
Yeah, and they can't even pay him anyway. But yeah, there's a lot of questions. We'll see what happens. We'll stay tuned, and we'll keep you guys posted when we hear more news about them Dallas Cowboys. But let's turn over to a good team that's making the right moves and is headed in the right direction. Possibly can hoist up that Lombardi trophy. And that's the Detroit Lions. They made a move. They made a splash. Got an edge rusher to show up that spot after Aiden Hutchinson went down. And that is Mr. Zadarius Smith from the Cleveland Browns. Got traded to the Lions for a 5th and a 6th round pick there. It's a reaction. I like the move. Shows up that spot. And I think they are the best team right now in the NFC. They have to be. And they're getting better every week. That offense is playing unreal. Jared Goff has been playing like an MVP candidate. And that defense, it was missing an edge rusher there with the absence of Aiden Hutchinson. And you get him in there. Zadarius Smith, he's a guy that's been a Pro Bowler, has had multiple years with double digit sacks. And I like the move. He's probably not the same player he once was, but is a guy that has veteran experience, could be a leader there in the locker room, and he knows the NFC North very well. So I like the move. Overall, I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B because you got a guy there to shore up that edge rusher spot. How about you?
Yeah, I'll go B plus because it's a move. Hutchinson went down, obviously, and you need another guy that can generate some pressure, get some sacks. He's older, but he could still do that. He's still serviceable. He could still provide a solid pass rush for you. And yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So I was wondering if they would make the ultra splash and go after like a Max Crosby, who family members, he's a Detroit guy. So a lot of families like, hey, you need to come to Detroit. We need you. So I was wondering if they would do that move, make a huge splash that would just like shock everyone. But hey, so Darius Smith is a good option there. This doesn't cost as much, obviously, as a Max Crosby would. So, yeah, it was a really good move for our Super Bowl contending team, right? We both got him in the Super Bowl, the Lions, that being. So, yeah, good move, man. Just the best team in the NFC gets stronger.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And you gave it a B plus. I gave it a B. Let's move over to the AFC. Let's talk about a move two moves this team has made, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They finally got another receiver added in there because they've been, other than George Pickens, who they have, Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin. Like, come on now, you got to get another receiver for Dangerous to throw the ball to, and Dangerous likes throwing those deep balls and those jump balls, and a guy that can go up and get it is Mike Williams, and they got him for a 5th-round pick. Not bad. A guy that's been, injury prone the past few years there with the Chargers. And, this year with the Jets, he's just been in and out of the lineup because, it's a crowded receiver room there with the Jets, with Allen Lazard, Garrett Wilson, and then Devontae Adams finally getting in there. They just haven't been able to utilize Mike Williams. And now he gets a fresh start here in Pittsburgh. I like the move a lot because you shore up your receiver room and you want to be a team that can win a division and compete with the Ravens there. I like the move, add another receiver to a room that's kind of not the greatest right now other than George Pickens. And for a 5th-rounder, you take a chance on a guy that has success in the NFL, and I like the move a lot. I'll give it a B.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll go a B. Yeah, he has an injury history. He spent a lot of the offseason coming from a torn ACL, I'm pretty sure. So not a guy that has stayed the field consistently. So yeah, and he had a hard time getting on the same rapport, the same chemistry. They couldn't find it with him and Aaron Rodgers enough. So he got kind of lost in the shuffle, like you said, and it was just best for him to find a change of scenery and get more opportunity, right? He's instantly the number 2 receiver there. And yeah, I didn't even think about it. Like Russell Wilson does throw a moon ball. Some might call it a nice moon ball.
I call it a moon ball.
And
right.
Man, Mike Williams, he's athletic. He can go up and make those kind of catches, jump over the defense, the corners. So it's a good move. I heard a lot of like, hey, maybe they want a deep ball threat, so maybe they get like a Darius Slayton from the Giants, was what I was hearing. So they get a deep threat kind of guy there. And then on the Giants side, it's time to give Hyatt those reps and see what they got with Jalen Hyatt. But that didn't happen, so they pivoted. And I know they were in on Christian Kirk too, but then he got hurt. So they pivoted and they ended up deciding on Mike Williams. So I liked it. I give it a B.
Yeah, I agree. And they also did get another player added to their team, Preston Smith. A guy I haven't heard much from this year. I don't even think he's getting playing time, as you were saying earlier, because of Rashawn Gary taking over most of his snaps there. He's been more of a rotational guy there. For only a 7th-round pick, though, I would take a chance on a guy for, you have lots of great edge rushers in there already with TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith there. So adding another guy into the fold with a defense that has been getting after the quarterback, I like the move a lot. This guy has some history there with sacks and being productive as a pass rusher. He's getting up there in age, but for a 7th rounder and for being a rotational guy, I think he will fit just right in this Steelers defense. And I'll give this one a B as well because it's only a 7th round pick. And at 7th round picks, they turn out to be nothing unless you're Brock Purdy. Other than that, it's worth taking a chance on a guy that could, add another element to your defense. So I'll give it a B as well. How about you?
Yeah, well, it's a B because the hit rate in the 7th round is very slim. It's not very often you hit on a guy in the 7th round. You got a guy that's a proven player that's towards the end of his career. He's a veteran kind of guy. So you give him up for a 7th. So there's a reason probably why he wasn't getting much reps with the Packers. But you're taking a chance on him. You got guys already in there. You got the Alex Highsmith, like you said, TJ Watt. So just join the rotation and gives them another guy when they rotate those edge rushers in. It's another guy just to look out for to make sure he's accounted for, and along with the guys in the middle like Larry Ogunjobi, Cam Hayward too. That D line's really good. It's a really good unit, and the Pittsburgh Steelers know that it's Steelers football. The trenches matter. Both sides, offensive line, defensive line, they matter. And that organization always values defense. Going back to the 70s, the Steel Curtain, they love having all pro quality guys back there. Defense, they still believe in that old school mentality that defense wins championships. So I like that, man. I do like the move. I thought they had a good trade deadline. I like the moves they made. And don't count them out for winning the division. It's going to be the AFC North is just fun. It's always a fun division. It always comes down to the last couple games. So we'll see. We'll see, man. It's looking like them and the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that Hard Knocks series come out here soon. I believe it's coming out after midway through the season, so it should be coming here soon. So I'm excited about that. Let's talk about a trade that already happened, but let's talk about how well it's panning out for them Chiefs with DeAndre Hopkins, man. He balled out on Monday night against the Tampa Bay Bucks, man. I think he had 2 touchdowns there, had like 80 yards.
Yeah.
He was balling out. And see, it's all about, being in the right situation. And now being in that Andy Reid offense, having a competent quarterback in Patrick Mahomes instead of a Will Levis and all the quarterbacks he's been through there throughout his career, even with the Houston Texans. So, finally being in the right situation, right scheme, right offense. Dude, that was a no-brainer for the Chiefs. Trading a conditional 4th rounder, man, for DeAndre Hopkins, a guy that could be a future Hall of Famer by the time his career is over there. It's turned out to be a great move. And, the Chiefs, their receiver room is depleted with injuries. They lost Rashee Rice for the season, Marquise Brown, and adding D-Hop was a great move, and only for a conditional 4th. That's nothing for the Chiefs. So, yeah, I'm giving that move an A. I gave it an A earlier before it happened, or when it happened, and now, looking like an A+. So, yeah, kudos to the Chiefs. Kudos to that front office. And, man, they're looking good. They look like the best team right now in football other than the Lions. So, turn to you.
Yeah, not much to add. I think a lot of people were saying, "Oh, he's washed. He's older." Like I'll admit, I wasn't even sure. Like, yeah, I know the situation was bad, but how much does he still have? He's been in the league for quite some time. But hey, when you go from a not so good team, probably a projected top 5 pick in the draft in the Titans, and you go to a team that's easily AFC West. They're going to win the AFC West. They're going to be in the playoffs. They might even make it further. They might go back to the bowl. That rejuvenates a guy. That makes a guy excited. Winning cures everything, and it gets you excited. So he's playing with a lot of excitement. He's finding his love again, just playing with Mahomes and everything. So he's got a lot of adrenaline. He's got a lot of juices flowing, so to speak. So when he's out there, it looks like you can tell he's having fun again. He's playing meaningful games. He's going to play meaningful games in the postseason, and he knows he has the best quarterback in the league in Mahomes to throw him the ball. So yeah, he's just enjoying it. I know he's feeling pretty blessed to be in that situation. So, yeah, happy for him too. I'm happy for him with, like you said, the quarterback carousel he's dealt with his whole career. So, finally have a guy has won Super Bowls. He's proven he's on track to be one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. You just gotta go out there, do what you do best, and he'll get you the ball. So he's playing relaxed, he's playing carefree, and yeah, he's playing good ball. So yeah, man, awesome for him. Happy for him too. So yeah, and he's turning back the clock a little bit for some people. Like he can still play. Like don't sleep on him. So yeah, his impact's already felt in this second game with the Chiefs. So and just give Andy Reid more time to scheme more things for him to get open. So you know how creative they can get. So this is only just the beginning. I'll say that.
Yeah. I think we can end off the podcast there. We recapped the whole trade deadline. Lots of good stuff we talked about. Marshon Lattimore, Jonathan Mingo, Darius Smith, Mike Williams, and yeah, recapping the D-Hop trade after seeing how productive he's been. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode. If you did, drop a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We would really appreciate it. We got more content coming your guys' way. We're going to be more active there on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts even. So go follow us on all those platforms. Will be in the link tree down below. And yeah, final words, Justin, before we end off today's episode.
Final words. Trade deadline's over. It's time for the second half of the season, man. It's gonna be fun. I want to see how this divisions end up, how the playoffs set. It's gonna be fun. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. Notification bell on. Most important thing, leave a like. Leave a like too. That helps us get our names out there. It's like our currency. Come on. That's how we get paid.
That's how we get paid. Yeah. So if you guys enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys later. BenchWire.
Oh.